Alex wiped the sweat from his forehead as he stared at the holographic display in front of him. The lab station floated silently above the azure planet, its surface covered in swirling storms and jagged mountain ranges. Humanity had sent him here to study the planet's atmosphere and its peculiar energy readings, but tonight, the station felt different. Quiet, almost too quiet. The soft hum of machinery was the only sound, and Alex had begun to lose himself in the endless streams of data. He rubbed his eyes and leaned back in his chair, thinking about the countless hours he had spent alone in the station. Days bled into nights in zero gravity, and the isolation had a strange effect. He missed human contact, the small conversations, the laughter, but he told himself that the work mattered more. Humanity needed knowledge, and he was one of the few humans brave enough to gather it in a place so far from home. The sudden click of the lab door startled him. The voice he heard before the door opened was soft yet commanding, like a melody that demanded attention. "Alex," it said, clear and confident. He froze mid-gesture, his hand hovering over the console. He hadn't expected anyone, not from Earth, and certainly not from the alien races humanity had met so far. The door slid open with a gentle hiss, and a figure entered. She moved with elegance and purpose, her presence filling the room without a single word. Lyra, the alien diplomat, walked in. She was tall and humanoid in shape, but her skin shimmered faintly with an iridescent glow that reflected the lab's lights. Her eyes were large and expressive, a deep shade of violet, and they seemed to see straight into Alex's thoughts. There was a confidence about her that was impossible to ignore. Alex's first instinct was to stand, to salute or introduce himself properly, but something about her made him pause. She was not threatening, not hostile, but utterly commanding in her calm, assured way. "You're not expecting me," she said, her voice smooth, almost musical. Alex shook his head slowly. I wasn't," he admitted, trying to steady his racing heart. "I thought your delegation would arrive tomorrow." Lyra's lips curved into a faint smile. "Plans change, and sometimes waiting too long can be dangerous." She stepped closer, and Alex felt the weight of her presence in the room. She didn't seem nervous or cautious, only certain. Without warning, she began to remove her outer garments. Alex's eyes widened, unsure of what to do, but he quickly realized that this wasn't an act of seduction in the way humans might think. Her people had customs he didn't understand, rituals that were meant to show trust, honesty, and transparency. This was one of them. She stood before him without hesitation, her posture relaxed but confident. Then she leaned forward and kissed him hard. The action startled Alex, but it wasn't intimate in a sexual sense. It was deliberate, purposeful. In her culture, this gesture marked a bond of trust and respect. She was signaling that she believed in him, that she chose him as her human ally. Alex blinked, trying to process what had just happened. His mind raced with questions. Why him? Why now? And what did this mean for the fragile relationship between humanity and her people? Lyra pulled back slightly, her gaze steady. "You have something rare," she said quietly. "Courage, curiosity, empathy, your kind often lacks these qualities, but you possess them in abundance." Alex swallowed hard, still stunned by her confidence and the intensity of the gesture. I don't understand," he said, his voice hesitant. "Why me?" She tilted her head, considering him with those deep violet eyes. "Because you think like a human, but you act with a mind beyond your species. You are unpredictable, and unpredictability can be a weapon in diplomacy and survival alike." Alex's heart pounded. He had faced many challenges, but none like this. Meeting aliens had always been a calculated professional task. But this was personal, intense, and completely disorienting. Yet beneath the confusion, he felt something else, a spark of admiration, of connection. He wanted to understand her, to learn why she had chosen him, and to rise to the challenge she had presented without a single word of demand. "Come with me," Lyra said, stepping away from the console. "There is something you need to see, something only you can help with." He hesitated. The lab, his work, the countless calculations and experiments, it all seemed trivial compared to the sense of urgency in her tone. He nodded slowly. "Okay, lead the way." Lyra guided him through the corridors of the station, her steps silent yet precise. The halls were sleek and metallic, lined with glowing panels displaying data he couldn't begin to understand. Alex followed closely, feeling both awe and a strange sense of trust. There was a rhythm to her movements, a grace that seemed almost unnatural to human eyes, but he couldn't help but be drawn in. They reached a large observation deck at the edge of the station. Beyond the reinforced glass, the planet stretched out in all its fury. Storm clouds roiling across its surface, lightning flickering through jagged peaks. The energy readings had intensified here, and Alex realized immediately that this was what she wanted him to see. "This planet is unstable," Lyra said, her voice calm but firm. "My people have studied it for centuries, but your species, you can offer solutions we cannot. You think differently. That is why I have chosen you." Alex stepped closer to the glass, scanning the planet below. The readings were unusual, unlike anything he had encountered before. Magnetic fields fluctuated wildly, and the storm seemed almost alive, reacting to unseen forces. "It's dangerous," he said. "The energy patterns are unpredictable. One wrong move and the station could be destroyed." Lyra nodded. "Exactly. Which is why you are here. Because humans have the capacity for intuition, for creative problem solving. My people respect rules and protocols. You can break them in ways that produce results." Alex took a deep breath, his mind spinning. He had studied alien cultures, diplomacy, and survival strategies, but nothing had prepared him for this. And yet he felt a strange surge of confidence. If she believed in him, then maybe he could rise to the occasion. Maybe humanity could prove its worth in the eyes of this advanced species. He turned to her. "So you want me to, what, stabilize the energy patterns? Prevent a disaster?" Lyra smiled faintly, the violet light of her eyes reflecting the storms below. "Yes, but more than that. I want you to understand why this matters. My species is counting on you, Alex. And so is humanity." The weight of responsibility pressed down on him. This was more than science. It was a test of courage, intuition, and empathy. He realized that this moment would define not only his career, but perhaps the future of interstellar relations. Lyra stepped closer again, placing a hand on his arm, a simple gesture, yet it conveyed a trust that few humans had ever experienced. "I know it is a lot," she said softly, "but I believe in you. That is why I chose you, and that is why I performed the ritual earlier. You are ready." Alex swallowed hard, feeling the gravity of her words. The ritual, the kiss, the boldness, it all made sense now. This was not about intimacy. It was about connection, trust, and the recognition of potential. She had chosen him because he represented the best of humanity. The courage to face the unknown, the ingenuity to solve impossible problems, and the empathy to understand others. He nodded slowly. "I'll do it," he said, his voice steady now. "I'll help. I'll figure out a way." Lyra's eyes brightened slightly and she stepped back. "Good. Time is critical. We must act quickly." Alex spent the next hours analyzing the energy readings with Lyra's guidance. Her insights were invaluable. She explained patterns and behaviors that no human data could predict. Yet she allowed him space to think, to experiment, and to apply his own methods. The combination of her knowledge and his creativity produced results faster than either of them expected. As the first part of the night faded into the artificial morning of the station, Alex realized something profound. He was no longer just a scientist working in isolation. He was a bridge between species, a symbol of human ingenuity and courage. Lyra had placed her trust in him, and he would not let it be wasted. And somewhere deep inside, he felt a growing respect and admiration for the alien who had walked in so boldly, performed her ritual, and chosen him. She had shaken his world, and perhaps together they could change the galaxy. The first warning alarms of the station suddenly echoed through the halls, and the energy readings spiked. Alex's heart raced. This was only the beginning. The true test of his abilities and humanity's worth was about to begin. He glanced at Lyra, and she nodded once, confident and unwavering. Together, they would face whatever challenges the planet and the universe had in store. And for the first time, Alex understood the meaning of trust, courage, and the HFY spirit that could shine even in the darkest corners of space. The alarm echoed again, louder this time, reverberating through the steel corridors of the station. Alex's heart thumped as he checked the holographic display. The energy spikes had grown beyond anything he had anticipated. The planet below was reacting violently. Storms twisted unpredictably, and massive surges of energy threatened to destabilize the station's orbit. This was no ordinary anomaly. It was a test, and the stakes were higher than ever. Lyra's expression remained calm, but her violet eyes were sharp and focused. "We need to stabilize the readings immediately," she said. "Every second counts." If we fail, the station could be lost and the planet's energy could trigger a chain reaction that affects the entire sector. Alex swallowed hard. The weight of responsibility pressed on him like gravity. He had studied theoretical models, but nothing had prepared him for action in real time, where one wrong move could mean disaster. He took a deep breath, trying to steady his nerves. First, we need to understand the pattern, Alex said, pointing at the energy graph. It's chaotic, but there's a rhythm to it. If we can anticipate the peaks, we might be able to synchronize the station's stabilizers. Lyra nodded. I can help identify the triggers, but your human intuition is what will make the difference. Sometimes rules alone cannot solve what logic cannot predict. Alex felt a surge of determination. This was exactly why she had chosen him. Humans were unpredictable, capable of creativity in ways that rigid alien protocols could not match. He focused, scanning the holographic displays and comparing them to the real-time readings from the station's sensors. He noticed subtle fluctuations, tiny shifts in the magnetic fields, patterns in the storms below, and minor energy surges that seemed almost deliberate. Wait, he said, pointing. Look at this. The energy pulses are not random. They follow the planet's rotational cycles and the alignment of the magnetic storms. If we adjust the stabilizers in sync with these cycles, we can prevent the worst of the surges. Lyra leaned closer, examining his calculations. Yes, this could work, she said, a note of excitement in her voice. Your species' ability to see patterns where none seem to exist is remarkable. Alex felt a rush of pride and responsibility. He was no longer just a scientist. He was humanity's representative, entrusted with the safety of the station, the planet, and the fragile trust between species. Then let's do it, he said firmly. The next hour was a blur of calculations, adjustments, and precise coordination. Alex worked alongside Lyra, each of them contributing their strengths. Her understanding of alien energy patterns and protocols combined with his human intuition and improvisation created a synergy neither had anticipated. At one point, a sudden surge caused the stabilizers to flicker. The station shuddered, throwing tools and equipment off the workbenches. Alex barely caught a falling console, his hand shaking but steady. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder, a simple gesture of reassurance. You are doing well, she said. Keep going. Trust yourself. Alex nodded, refocusing on the displays. He adjusted the timing of the stabilizers, using a combination of rapid calculations and instinct. The energy readings began to respond. The peaks flattened slightly and the storms below seemed to calm, as if the planet itself acknowledged their efforts. Hours passed, yet it felt like minutes. The bond between Alex and Lyra deepened, not romantically, but through mutual respect, trust, and the shared goal of survival. Every adjustment they made brought them closer to stabilizing the station. Every correct prediction reinforced humanity's value in the galaxy. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, Alex executed a final adjustment. The stabilizers hummed in perfect synchrony with the planet's energy pulses. The readings on the display flattened, showing a stable and manageable energy flow. The storms below, though still fierce, no longer threatened to erupt uncontrollably. Alex sank into a chair, exhausted but triumphant. We did it, he said, barely believing his own words. Lyra smiled, her violet eyes glowing with admiration. Yes, you did it. Humanity's ingenuity has saved the day. Your courage, creativity, and quick thinking made this possible. Alex felt a swell of pride. For the first time, he truly understood what it meant to be part of something greater than himself. Humanity was not just a species of survival. It was a species capable of extraordinary problem-solving, of rising to challenges no one else could face. The relief in the room was almost tangible, but there was no time to celebrate. The station's communication panel beeped urgently. A holographic message appeared, showing the council of Lyra's species. They were concerned about the planet's energy and impressed with the humans' quick response. You have proven yourselves, one of the council members said, their voice calm but formal. Humanity has shown creativity, bravery, and wisdom beyond expectation. We welcome this cooperation, and we acknowledge Alex as a trusted ally. Alex blinked in surprise. Public recognition from an alien council was something he had never imagined. Lyra's hand touched his arm again, a silent gesture of approval. He understood her completely now. Her trust had not been misplaced. The council's message ended, leaving Alex and Lyra in the observation deck, the planet below now calm, almost serene. Alex exhaled deeply, feeling a sense of accomplishment he had never known. Humanity had made a difference, not through sheer strength but through ingenuity, courage, and empathy. Lyra turned to him, her expression softening. "You understand now," she said. "Your species has a potential that few others recognize. Courage, creativity, and compassion. These are the qualities that make humans exceptional. This is why I chose you." Alex nodded, feeling a profound sense of responsibility. "I understand," he said. "And I won't let you or humanity down." There was a long silence filled only by the soft hum of the station's systems. Alex thought about the journey ahead, the challenges, the unknown dangers, and the potential for growth. Humanity had earned respect in a small corner of the galaxy, and he had played a part in it. Lyra stepped closer, not for a ritual this time, but as a companion, a partner in this mission. "The universe is vast," she said, "and we will face more challenges, but together, humans and my people can accomplish what neither could alone. Remember this night, Alex, it is only the beginning." Alex looked at her, feeling a deep respect and admiration. The bond they shared was built on trust, courage, and shared purpose. It was not about rituals or gestures, but about the recognition of potential and the desire to rise above challenges together. "Together," he agreed, his voice firm and resolute. "We'll face whatever comes." The station settled into quiet efficiency once again, the danger past but the lessons learned lingering in every corridor. Alex returned to his console not out of necessity, but to continue learning, improving, and preparing. Humanity had shown its worth, but there was always more to discover. Lyra watched him for a moment, then turned to look out at the planet below. The storms had calmed, but the energy was still alive, dynamic, and unpredictable, a reminder that the universe was full of challenges and full of opportunities. Alex realized something profound. This mission, this moment, was not just about survival. It was about proving that humanity could face the unknown, think beyond limits, and rise to greatness. HFY was not a slogan, it was a reality, a living truth that shone through his actions that night. Hours later, as the artificial sun of the station rose, Alex and Lyra stood together at the observation deck, watching the calm planet. The bond they shared was undeniable, forged in crisis, built on trust, and strengthened by shared triumph. "This is only the beginning," Alex said quietly, more to himself than anyone else. "There's so much more out there, and humanity will face it, and we will succeed." Lyra nodded, her violet eyes reflecting hope and pride. "Yes, and humans like you will lead the way." The planet below seemed to shimmer under the light of the station, a reminder of the challenges they had faced and the possibilities that lay ahead. Alex felt a renewed sense of purpose, ready to continue exploring, learning, and proving humanity's worth in the galaxy. And as he stood there side by side with Lyra, he understood the truth of what she had shown him. Courage, intelligence, and empathy, human qualities, could change the course of events, inspire trust, and even save worlds. In the vast, unpredictable universe, humanity had found its place, and Alex, a simple scientist from Earth, had become a symbol of what humans could achieve. The first crisis was over, but the universe had many more, and humanity, guided by courage, creativity, and the willingness to rise to any challenge, would face them head-on. Together, humans and their allies would prove that even in the most dangerous, alien, and chaotic corners of space, humanity could shine. Alex glanced at Lyra one last time before returning to his console. Her trust, her confidence, and her recognition had changed him forever. And in that moment he knew something essential. The HFY spirit was not just survival, it was brilliance, empathy, and courage in the face of the unknown. The station hummed steadily. The planet below, calm, and the future, though uncertain, held infinite possibilities. Humanity had arrived, and Alex, chosen for his courage and mind, had led the way.